Okay, and we are back. The time is currently, what is it? 9:15 a.m. on this Sunday morning, December 22nd, 2024. Yeah, not a great backdrop here as I am sitting in my living room and facing out my slider door here. So yeah, just kind of bear with me, if you will. And I apologize for the viewing here. It's not that great. Um, anyways, let's get on with this because I find this rather interesting, and maybe you will too. So, let's go on with these drone sightings that are taking place. And I told you in a previous video to go to my community postings. Um, and I still urge you to go through, my content. I got a lot of content out there, but hey, it's all there, hopefully to inspire, so that people can gain more knowledge about the reality, that we exist within. Now, I had stated that basically what is going on is a psychological operation that is being taken place for future endeavors, in order for more legislation, more laws, more control to take place because of the release of future technologies. Okay? And basically, that is what we are seeing. And, and this, just like anything else, whenever the powers that be speak of doing one thing, there is many more other things within the works or the plans. And so the narratives that they come out with, you actually have to read between the lines, right? And, this nonsense to where they keep saying the government this, the government that. Understand that this is the United States of America Incorporated. I still believe that that is the correct term. And our government is highly sponsored through major corporations, especially those that people just are not aware of. So let's get on with this. So yesterday, Senator Rand Paul blocked a bill, legislation in regards to drone laws, surveillance. Has to do with surveillance, okay? Now, I've spoken of surveillance quite often in my past recordings. Everything is watched. And if you want to believe in those so-called watchers on a different realm, great. I told you people a long, long time ago, as far as these surveillance programs within your smart devices, all smart appliances now, anything that's hooked up to the internet now has artificial intellect of some sort running through its veins, if you will. And because of AI and the concerns over that, there has to be more legislation. I mean, and that's what lawmakers do. That's what they're hired to do. And that's why we have so many damn laws over this, that, and the other thing. A lot of ridiculous laws. Control, control, control. Okay? Dominate and control. So let's continue on with this. So Rand Paul blocks this drone bill, and it was specifically in relations to airports. Um, and I'll let you dig into that. Okay, so let's continue on. So overnight, we had a drone that hit a skyscraper building in Russia. And they are already comparing it to 9/11 that happened here in the United States, because of its similarity in the how it hit the building and exploded, and how that high rise is smoking just like what we observed in 2001. So because of that, more fear factors, fear mongering, and all that, and that, that's part of the plan, part of the narrative is to get the people involved, right? Because, well, you get people involved, the average citizen or the average person, the average peon, if you will, okay? And, well, we had President-elect Trump say, hey, when it comes to these drones, shoot them down. The government's not doing anything. Shoot them down. Well, no, because what's going to happen? Well, now we need more gun control laws in regards to drones. Do you see how this is working out? Let me continue on. So going even further, what else has this President-elect Trump also stated? The United States will have its own dome of defense, much like Israel, right? An invisible dome of defense. Well, maybe that's already in the works. And of course, military could be involved with these drones that, of course, they are denying are even out there. And once again, it's possibly tied in with Donald Trump's dome of defense. After all, he's the man that started up Space Force and wants to begin another branch of the military, the Space Force National Guard. We need more laws, right? Okay, so say that this dome is there or will be there, constructed and all that, but you know, one of the things that they've been spouting off and talking about and fear mongering about for many, many years now is the factor of our electrical grid. And, what would take down that grid or a power grid, what would take everything down? An EMP, right? Big blast. Well, we have that prophecy of 3 days of darkness. Now, an EMP blast, a major, major EMP blast, knock out, a country's power grid, if not, the global power grid, if you will. And there'd have to be what? Oh, a major reset to everything. Went there. Maybe that's what's going to happen in order to take out artificial intelligence because it gets too powerful, as I have stated and predicted, right? Okay, now let's go on to, well, just who in the hell is in control right now? Because we're seeing just nonstop media going on and on about Trump doing this, Trump doing that, Trump, Trump, Trump. Not hearing too much about Harris at all now that the campaigning is done. And old Joe, well, there's plenty of reports on him about his decline, and which has been transparent enough for too long. But speaking of Joe Biden's health, which once again is being focused upon, and people are starting to bring about this little theory of, well, will Harris end up taking over the last days of Biden's presidency? Well, I kind of made that prediction back in March. I've shown you this. And, well, people, maybe she's already so-called president. Because after all, Joe handed the reins over to her for campaigning, right? But what happened quite a while back? Do you realize that she's already been our president? at least for a few hours, while Joe Biden had an operation? Now, is it possible that at that moment, that his mental decline was already taken note of, and the reins of power was actually handed over to Harris? Yeah. Um, and so, so officially, she would have already been the United States' first female of color president, right? Because she did cover his butt while he went into surgery for a few hours. Just think about that. Now let's continue on with, okay, now they're talking, Chinese drones, and how many Chinese drones are out there in the United States right now being operated by you and me. And wow, and we should be fearful of that, just like being fearful of TikTok, and surveillance, 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 and which the government always wants to spout off. They use what us common people have in our possessions, and then they turn it against us. Have you ever noticed this? TikTok being one of those. But of course, oh, China, China, China. It sounds like the Brady Bunch. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. No, China, China, China. Are you not getting sick of hearing about this nonsense? Well, think about this. Where's all these drones being spotted? Oh, they're saying military bases throughout the United States. Okay, what surrounds the military bases throughout the United States? Farmland that's owned by who? China. Okay, now think back even further. A year ago, give or take, something like that, and where, Biden ended up having a meeting with, I'm not sure if it was the Chinese president or an ambassador, some kind of a Chinese delegate. And where was the meeting? Where did that take place? Was it Washington, D.C.? Well, nope. It was San Francisco, of all places. San Francisco. Oh, wait. Doesn't San Francisco harbor the largest Chinatown in the United States? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just kind of theorizing here. Okay, I'm just connecting the pieces here, people. Why did Biden have to go to San Francisco to meet up with China? Nobody's, I have not seen anybody question that one. So there's ties with China and the Biden administration so much stronger than what they make it appear. So now let's go ahead and hit upon UFOs or UAPs. And I'm getting tired of this nonsense too because, whenever they keep changing definitions of things, you have to scratch your head and start in pondering thoughts as to why. I mean, you go back in history as far as some of these characters. Osama bin Laden. Or was it Usama bin Laden? You got Gaddafi. There's three different ways of saying and spelling that guy's name. And the list goes on. Okay, just like Kiev. Have you ever heard of an official statement as to why the spelling of Kiev was changed from Kyiv to Kieb? Yeah. So, speaking of Kiev and UFOs, UAPs, which, unidentified flying objects, unidentified aerial phenomena, to now unidentified anomalous phenomena. And a couple of weeks ago, there was a congressional hearing of which Mr. Elizondo was there, as well as a few others. And there was this one, I don't know, I don't know his name. I just don't know this person. Uh, and he's sitting there and he is telling these congressional leaders, he keeps bringing up artificial intelligence and what we need to incorporate artificial intelligence within this spectrum of trying to identify these anomalies that's flying around in our air and this and that and everything else. And he just keeps on talking on and on about artificial intelligence and what? Legislation. We need laws. You know, we need laws in the study of UFOs because we want to use artificial intelligence and so we need laws to govern that artificial intelligence and so make those connections. So now this is my connection. Everybody keeps talking about, oh, the government knows this, the military knows that, yada yada yada. What have we been seeing up there in the skies before the drones and before this UFO flap really started hitting? What was the main thing? Oh, it's these jets up in the sky, these untracked flights, this activity, the so-called chemtrailing. That, well, now, the bans have started in some states. Now they've got, clear skies, so on and so forth. But still, okay, so who are they banning from doing this? Those that are being banned, what are their reasons for doing this? Has any of that come out? Well, if you recall, and if you have been a steady watcher of this channel or viewer, subscriber, what have you, you may well remember a year or two ago to where I recorded and released this recording of one of these jet aircraft, these streamer jets, let's just call them that from here on out, these streamer jets, that was being followed by a triangular craft as well as an orb craft right behind this jet. And I recorded this. It's out there on my channel, okay? The same thing was observed at the same time. Where? In Kiev. Right up over Kiev. The same things that I recorded. And yet, nobody's making those connections of, well, so all these unidentified aerial phenomena seem to be connected to these streamer jets. But how do those behind the scenes keep the information covered up so that there's no disclosure or just redacted types of disclosures? Oh, let's create more control through more legislative powers, more laws. It helps the cover-ups. Yes, all this is connected, people. The drones, the UFOs, the weather, it's all connected. That is the connection they don't want you to know. Why? Oh, because maybe it goes even that much further into explaining our reality, our existence. Because after all, they got to keep us clueless and guessing as part of the game to existence and to this governmental control, regardless of what country you might be in. United States has the most influence of any country on the whole planet. So that right there should, clue people in as to some of the realities. The fight to keep the United States currency alive and a dominating currency. Well, that's going to change because of artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency. We've got a incoming president that's all for it. He's stated that he can't wait for 6G to come out. Why? Okay, and the one person that you would expect to hear, once again, about these drones, because of technology, and it's right up his department, would be Elon Musk. Okay, now let's talk about him just for a moment, because he's a power player, right? You realize that most of what that guy has invented and put out there has no patents, no government patents, to where they are publicly available for use. That includes his designs through SpaceX and his flamethrower gun and yada yada yada. Oh, well, wait a minute. Well, we can't let people, the common person, have some of these. So maybe we need to make more laws in regards to technology and patents, and that anything that does come out in this new age has to have a patent on it, so someone can be blamed, right? There's always the blame game. And last but not least, remember, people, this is a new age that we have been within for a few years now. Man cannot create anything new without destroying first. Nothing can be created by man without man first destroying. Okay? Does not matter what it is, whether it's a rock, a tree, a rock to become a part of a foundation, the seabed sand to become concrete, or cement, excuse me. Man always has to destroy first before he can create anything. So with the creation of new legislations, the legislative powers have to destroy other things. And what has to be destroyed in order to bring about more control? Freedoms, rights. And people want to continue to believe that there's freedoms and rights? No. Not within powers that you cannot trust already. So think about these things, people. Yeah, it's a rather long video. I had a lot to discuss. I'm going to cut it off right here because there's so much more that I could add to it, but I think I've done enough patting on my back, because once again, I came out and stated, hey, this is all, all these drones and everything is all just a psyop to bring about more control through more legislation, more laws. And Rand Paul, well, he affirmed that through him blocking that legislative bill. He saw through the deception. I ask all of you to start doing the same thing. Once again, I apologize for the backdrop here, but it is what it is. I've taken down my American flag that I used to use as a backdrop. It's too bloody cold outside, so it is what it is. yeah, do your little bit of research into, anything that I've made mention of. It's all out there, in YouTube land. I don't know what's been going on, but here lately I've been crashing out about 9 p.m., waking up around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And well, this morning, the mental gears were just spinning away as I am coming across a few videos here and there, and oh yeah, and you might want to go ahead and do a little bit of research into what people have out there as far as algorithms, and further research into artificial intelligence and where that's going, what it's already been doing, and how long it's actually really been around. Okay, you might be amazed to find out how long artificial intelligence has actually been around. Um, let's check into all this. After all, I'm only doing this because, well, I'm tooting my own horn and I'm pretty damn proud of it. So thank you for tuning in. If you made it this far, have yourself a great one. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and maybe we'll see you once again back here on this flip side.